Welcome, beloved soul seeker, my dear brothers and sisters out there. I have decided to do this podcast episode as a solo episode. Given all that's going on in the world right now, the tension and the chaos and the crisis that we're experiencing, along with the many, many gifts that are emerging, I really felt called to speak to you directly and to really share some of the ways that I am seeing, both for myself and many others out there, um, really use this time for deep, deep reflection, introspection, deeper self awareness, connection to your values, to your heart, to your soul's purpose, and starting to look at what are the gifts that are emerging. And so we're going to talk about ways to unlock and to tap into your heart wisdom, your soul's purpose, and how to stay grounded, how to stay calm, how to stay in that place of being the light right now. I think you don't have to go far to feel the chaotic energy that's going on in mass consciousness. Whether you live in a remote town or you're in a big city, it's almost impossible to stay away from all of what's going on with the frenzy, the updates, and the crisis mentality. And while I know that that is happening, there is also, I believe, a piece that each of us can take ownership over, and that is really both managing our own vibration and staying in a place of curiosity, of resilience, of calm, of light, and finding the joy and the gifts in what's happening. So I wanted to share, the first thing I wanted to go over with you was books that I have found to be really, really powerful on my journey in unleashing and helping me to connect deeper to my higher being. When I say my higher being, for some that might be your higher self. I call it your You-est you, connection to your heart, to your soul, to the God aspect of you, whatever works wording wise. Take what you like and leave the rest as always. But I do want to focus this episode on how to really tune in. This is a time, I believe, to go inward and fill up and connect, and then to share that light with others. I also think it's a time of slowing down and using the wisdom we have from nature. I have a great story I'll share in a little bit about two different animals that have lent so much wisdom to me and for me. I'm going to make a note right now so I don't forget. I really want to share this with you. I have two really cool stories and their messages. So I want to talk about some books that have impacted me greatly and I'm hoping will impact you. Since most of us are at home, the beautiful blessing is you're going to have a lot more time. I woke up the other day and one of the gifts I could see immediately was, oh my gosh, I have been praying, and I mean praying for more time. And I woke up realizing, oh my gosh, I have an abundance of time now. Like I really have. We all do have a lot more time. And that time you decide, time is a priceless commodity. You get to decide, how are you going to invest in that time? No judgment, but turning on the TV to watch something mindless, well, although that might be helpful, and I will say sometimes mindless TV is really great, but if you're constantly watching the news and getting, amped up and worried about what's going on with, the coronavirus or where it's spreading or what's happening, it's really, the question is, does that serve your highest good? So I want you to start thinking about filtering everything you're doing. If you like, it's an invitation, you don't have to, but does this serve your highest good? Does this way of using your time serve your highest good? And I believe the books that I'm going to share with you do serve your highest good. And I would love to hear from you. You can share in the amazing free community on Facebook, the You-est you community for soul seekers. Share what books have uplifted you. There was a great post that we did about a week ago and got tons of recommendations. Start sharing. So I'm going to start with one of my most favorite books of all times by Neale Donald Walsch. It is Conversations with God. And if you're watching this, this will be posted on YouTube as well. I'm showing a demo of some of the books. I don't have all of them in hardcover because I do a lot on Audible as well. This book, it actually goes by my my night table, and I open it all the time. Neil Donald Walsh is this prolific luminary writer who basically years ago was asking all these big questions to God, to higher power, and was just wanting to understand about suffering, about life, about creation, about, how we came to be. And so this is whether or not you believe it, it's an amazing, he has 4 books. You can also, I believe, get them all on audio, and he has this dialogue back and forth with God, and he writes it both in the he and the she, and it goes into every question you could ever want to know. So I love this one. Another book that I've been leaning on, there are 2 books by one of my favorites, Gregg Braden. And I'm excited to share. Gregg is going to be coming on the podcast in April. He is a absolutely brilliant scientist, geologist. He is in 5 times New York best-selling author. He's a luminary as well. And I love his book, The Divine Matrix. So for those like me who want to understand this quantum field and this infinite, blanket of love intelligence that just, is infused in everything and all of us, knowing we're all energy, Gregg explains this in the most beautiful way in The Divine Matrix. So I highly recommend it. I love his voice, so I got it on audio and Audible, and I recommend The Divine Matrix. Beautiful book. It's not it's a quick read, and it's just going to give you this feeling of connectedness to Mother Earth, to the universe, and to all of us. And I really believe right now the point is to stay connected, to be in community. My intuitive feeling, and I think many of us feel this way, is that what's happening right now is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for our soul. It's a wake-up call for us to ask questions like, what really matters? What is meaningful to me? How do I want each precious day to be lived? Right? Like, we are in an unprecedented time. And I think we're going to see there's a lot of these hidden gifts, treasures in what's happening. I don't want to be Pollyanna about it. There's a lot of suffering. It is a crisis. Yet if you take the word crisis and you dissect it, it has the word opportunity in it. And while it's danger and opportunity is really that ability, to put on those new lenses, to look at things from a new perspective. So I would invite you to keep coming back to yourself, your habits, your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories, your way of looking at your routine, your timing. What are the ways to look at it as a new opportunity? What are the gifts? What are the ways to pivot? Another book that can help you to get really connected to earth wisdom, to Mother Earth wisdom and prayer in a new, kind of a beautiful new perspective, is Gregg Braden's other New York Times bestselling book, Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer. I'll just show that. Oh my God, this book is like, it's gold. It's delicious. I keep that by my bedside, and I just flip through those 2 books, Conversations with God and Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer. And all of this will be in the show notes, my friends. Another book I love is, I've had her on the podcast. She is a leading world-renowned psychic medium, Laura Lynn Jackson, who is a sweetheart. I did a weekend retreat with her and studied with her at Omega Institute, and her book, The Light Between Us. I lent it out, so I can't show it to you, but The Light Between Us, and her book, Signs, The Secret Language of the Universe. Such beautiful books. Again, all of these helping you and I to stay connected to something greater than ourselves, to feel and remember and know that we are more than our bodies. We are more than this crisis. We are lights. We have an infinite quality to us. That's my belief, at least, right? We are created from this infinite love intelligence. And if you read Divine Matrix, it really talks about how we come from the same thing. All of us came from that same spark. All of us were all truly connected. And if you listen to any of the heart math interviews, which I recommend going back and listening, because it goes into the power of your heart wisdom and connecting to your heart, and how that can actually scientifically boost your immunity and help you to sleep better and have less stress. At the very end, I'll do a quick heart breathing meditation just so you can practice. We can practice together. But there's also the research. Dr. Roland McCready talks about the research behind intuition and how that lives in the heart. How, our information actually comes through the heart first and then up to the brain. We always, I think, have had it really backwards. And I think part of what's happening too, if I may say so, and thank you for listening. And of course, you may disagree, and that's okay. And let's have a conversation if you do. But my belief is that we've had it upside down in many ways. It's been so focused, our world has been so focused on doing, on producing, on the intellect, on thinking. That is very important. But what's been missing is what you could think of as sort of that feminine aspect of receiving, of slowing down, of surrendering, of open-handed offering, of being present in a way that's we're seeing now we're being forced to. And I do believe that Mother Earth herself, Gaia, is really teaching us this beautiful lesson, and is helping us to slow down in new ways. And so, again, it comes back to that question around, how is this serving my highest good right now? How am I? How is this an opportunity to grow and to change? How can I give more to the planet and to myself, nurturing my soul? That's not just materialistic, but that helps you connect to your that spiritual divine connection. Another book that is beautiful, my dear friend Hal Elrod, who was on recently, is The Miracle Equation. Now, Hal also wrote all of the Miracle Morning books and series. I adore him. He is an absolute sweetheart. He walks his walk and talk. I don't know if I said that right, but he lives just authentically with what he talks about. And The Miracle Equation is a beautiful book and really talks about how to build that unwavering faith. We talked about it, if you want to revert back to our interviews a couple weeks ago. Another book that I want to share, I am a lover of books. So if you're like me, you can listen to them if you don't prefer to read them. I actually am wearing my new reading glasses. I finally need them and got them. So if you need glasses, go. You can get them at the drugstore. You can get them at a store, but you can also listen to the book as well. Another book that I have been reading and just love is The Intention Experiment. The Intention Experiment is by Lynn McTaggart. And it really goes through the science. I think so many of us, our logical minds, want to understand the science behind a lot of these ideas that can seem airy fairy, out there, nice, but how do we know? No, Lynn McTaggart, just like Gregg Braden, goes into the science behind the setting an intention and how it works, literally energetically in the quantum field. Why setting intentions and then adding that feeling to it, why that makes a big difference and can change your whole life. So I recommend The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart. Amazing book. I listened to that one. That's a little longer and does get into the science. So be prepared. You might even want to take notes. Another book, love, 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 The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. He also wrote The Untethered Soul. These two books are just absolutely beautiful. But the Surrender Experiment is really appropriate for right now. I think just helping to stay in that place of surrender and flow. I highly recommend moving that up to one of the top of your list. I'm thinking about it as I speak. And it just shows his life, how it's unfolded. He was one of the creators of the Medical Manager, which became WebMD, but he was like a yogi that practiced in the woods in Florida. And you just watch his beautiful unfolding of his story and how he just kept letting go and surrendering. It's just exquisite. So that's another book. I also loved the book, It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver. Oh my God, my friends. This book, oh my goddess, I should say. Oh my God, oh my goddess. This book is unbelievably powerful and so beautiful. Tosha is an incredible writer. I actually would recommend this book if you can do audio and it doesn't put you to bed or sleep. I would get It's Not Your Money. I would listen to it. Her voice is very soothing. And it's really all about what I'm taking away is it's about offering up all of it, right? Our fear, our concerns, our worries, our doubts, our finances, our well-being, all of it, offering it up to the divine, offering it up to greater, source, higher power, offering it, inviting a presence greater than us to to really step in. And that surrender is very powerful. I've been using it every single day. She has some beautiful prayers in there. And she also just gives a lot of different ways to really stay connected to your heart, to your inner wisdom, but also to allow for this greater flow to come into your life. I have been following a lot of what she's been saying and just noticing it in my own life. Plus, it's eased a lot of the tension within my body. So I love, love, love her. And the last book, so I had to add it because honestly, I wrote a book that is a good, it's good for right now. It's good for going deep into yourself, for building self-awareness. And I was like, I got to add my book because I believe in it. And I've had, thank goodness, I'm very grateful to say I've had so many wonderful people read it and tell me that it's been life-changing. It's very interactive. My book is Get a PhD in You. So if you are into that kind of, doing those self-guided activities, there's tons of questions, activities, ways to go deeper into yourself. My story is woven into it as well. But if you're looking for a self-study and a way to really tap into how miraculous you are, how to reframe things from your past, how to have a deeper just connection to your soul and your soul's purpose. Like I wrote this book from a total intuitive feeling for a year that I was supposed to write this to help people, especially during a difficult time. So I would be honored if you read it. And it is on Amazon. And if you have questions or you want to ask me for support or ways that anything that comes up, please reach out to me. I am accessible and I'm here for you. So Get a PhD in You, I was thinking about it, is really a wonderful, it's a wonderful asset for right now, especially because we have more time. And I do believe this is time to go deeper within. So I hope you enjoy it. There's also a journal that goes with it. It's the Get a PhD in You companion journal. Both are on Amazon, and feel free to get any or all of these books. So I am hoping that this is going to help you on your journey. I want you to know that you're not alone. We are in this together. I've created a free Facebook community. We are posting there. Please share how you're feeling, how you're pivoting. What are you learning? How are you growing? What are the gifts? What signs and synchronicities are you seeing right now where you feel so supported by the universe? Please share, because as you do, all tides rise when we do this kind of connecting together. Let me know, how can I support you? How can we support you? Keep your eyes open. I will be doing quite a few free meditations and heart connected opportunities and webinars in the live Facebook, in Facebook Live, and would love to have you there. And I encourage you to think about, what are ways to give more of yourself right now? What are ways to connect at the heart level? Can you get on the phone with a family member or your niece and nephew or friends you haven't talked to in a while? Create a Zoom call, create a Zoom party, create a dance party, like just thinking out of the box. The other thing I wanted to share is really kind of minding your mind, but also it could be very easy to stay in PJs all day. And while that's not a bad thing, I do think choosing to be surrounded by objects that feed your soul, that feel empowering, that feel in alignment, that give you energy, wearing clothing or colors that make you feel grounded or productive. So for me, one of the things I'm wearing, I have a couple different necklaces. I have my Rising Phoenix. I have this mala bead with a stone. It has a quartz, and also it's melded with a stone that's very connected to the earth energy. I have my citrine ring, like just being very intentional with this time. How do you want to use this time to nurture yourself on that mind, body, soul aspect? So thinking about what colors make you feel uplifted. I've been going to a lot of purples and lavender, which is the color associated with your third eye and the crown chakra. I've been also turning to a lot of pinks, which is for me about compassion and heart energy. What colors work for you? How do those make you feel? Like, this is a time to really ask yourself, what do I need to feel grounded and supported? How can I, hold space? Because I'm telling you, I had it this morning, feelings of fear, feelings of worry and concern, those are normal, right? We're human beings. I know I am not impervious to those feelings. And what I used to do beloved soul seeker, if you're like me and you're an empath, or you just, you know, used to using something to not deal with your feelings, I used to turn to food, and sometimes still do. It's, thank goodness, it's much less than I used to, but I would turn to bags and boxes and bars and all kinds of things to not have to deal with my feelings. And, this morning, I'm going to be really honest. I woke up and my chest was really heavy. I slept with my hand on my heart all night. I woke up and very gratefully, my husband was next to me. He has a lot of earth grounded energy. And I just turned to him and I'm like, I need to just like hold your hand for a minute. If you're solo, put your hand to your heart, right? That is a very calming, healing activity that you can do, and just offer yourself up to the divine, to your higher self, to your team, to your guides. We can do this. We can self-soothe ourselves. I do Reiki on myself every morning. You could just simply put your hand to your heart and breathe. You could add a meditation. Insight Timer is an amazing, amazing resource. Again, I'll have this all in the show notes, but just really coming back to your inner wisdom and guidance, your inner well-being. My friends, we are designed to be well, designed to be healthy, designed to have the inner pharmacy and have everything we need. And it is okay to feel fearful. Reach out to others, share it so it's not something you keep to yourself. Something that occurred to me this morning was, I was feeling scared, and I realized one of the ways to really transform that fear was just to feel it and then offer that up, offer it as a sacred offering. And what I noticed was I had this feeling of sacred love. It was like this feeling of scared turned into sacred. And you'll definitely hear me talking more about that. I'm going to get more into this idea of scared transitioning, transforming into sacred. In fact, I will soon be starting a learning community to really look at how to live in a way where you can see yourself as a sacred being, and what does it look like and feel like, and how are you being when you are living a sacred life? What does that mean? So we'll get more into that, more to come. I hope that this is helpful. And I would just encourage you to kind of ask a couple questions of yourself. If you want to take some notes, or again, this will be jotted down for you. In this time of upheaval, you could start asking questions around, what is the gift? What is the gift right now? What are the gifts right now? How am I expanding? What is the opportunity for me right now to grow? How is my soul flourishing right now? How am I more connected to nature? And what does that give me? What's the gift of that? The other thing, what we focus on expands. So ask yourself, or ask if you think of it as your angels or guides or team of light or higher self or a goddess or whatever it is that you connect with, I encourage you to ask every day for signs, for synchronicities, for evidence, for that connectedness to the universe. Ask for signs that are going to have you feel even more tuned in and loved and more connected with and communicated with. I do this every day. I'm going to share my two animal stories really quickly because I think that they're going to be both, hopefully give you some insight and just share the amazingness of this universe. So last year, I'll share this really quickly because I use this learning every day now. And I think it's a learning that's happening in our world right now. Last year I was rushing, right? When we were out rushing, everyone knows, like a week or two ago, you're probably out rushing. If you're an overachiever, doer like me, I was rushing, drove my kids to school and all the way back from DC and went to the gym. And as I'm driving, all of a sudden I see this big thing in the middle of the mini highway, and I like screech and stop on my brakes, and like literally 3 inches away from this big turtle. So this turtle was in the middle of a highway. And I just thought, my God, I almost hit it. Thank God I didn't. And the first thought was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to pick up a turtle. I'm not an expert. Could it hurt me? I don't know. So my mind was like, okay, I'm going to be right here in front of the turtle. No one's hurting it. Before I could even think about getting out of the car, someone on the other side of the median had pulled over on the side of the highway. She ran across the street. She picked up this big turtle and moved it to the forest on the right side of me. And I was watching this like, who is this magical woman? So I got out and like, oh my God, thank you. How did you know what to do? I wasn't sure. I was a little scared. Get this, you guys. She said to me, oh, this was easy. I'm a turtle expert. Do you realize the divine matrix, the infinite love intelligence of all things, orchestrated events where I stopped to protect the turtle? She, a second later, saw the turtle, ran out, and saved its life because she was a turtle expert. This is in like Columbia, Maryland, right? We're not at the zoo in Washington, D.C. We're not at the San Diego Zoo. Like, I don't know. I've never met a turtle expert other than in a zoo or that day. So I just wanted to say that wisdom for me, I think of Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and animals and the plants are so wise. Now, our Native American uh, beloved sacred community and ancient wisdom tells us about the totems of animals and the mystical meanings. And what I got was with the turtle is slow and steady, slow down. So I share that because I believe right now we're in a place, we're in a real calling, a wake up to slow down, to be mindful, to be present, and to slow down our whole way of being. Whether that's how you go from one thing to the next, whether it's how you enjoy your meal or conversing with your family or children or friends, or even how you take care of yourself. So that is one story. And I have a whiteboard with all of my little messages, and it's kind of a manifesto, and I have slow and steady with the turtle. So that was one story. And I just wish you that beautiful turtle wisdom. The last story I'm going to share, this happened last night, and I just feel called to share. I went to bed, hand on my heart, feeling really scared. And I asked my guides, I said, please share a sign with me while I'm sleeping. Please help me to feel more connected, just a message, something, please. And then I said, thank you. Part of our offering, when you are asking for guidance, what I want you to do is to offer it up, and then you want to feel and say thank you like it has happened. This moves mountains in the world of manifesting and creating. So I woke up this morning, as I told you, I felt anxious again. I had my hand on my heart. I was next to my husband, and then I had this complete memory and download of my dream. And I had the weirdest dream. I've never dreamt of animals before. I had a dream all about goats. Two different scenarios where there were just goats everywhere. These cute, big, loving goats, big mouths, big teeth, and somehow I was able to communicate with them. Kind of cool. And I woke up and I thought, oh, that's interesting. What's up with the goat? So tuning into my intuition, I went to meditate, and I went to, for some reason, I was called to pull out an old journal that I used to take notes in and journal. And I'd had a really cool intuitive reading in there, and I read through it. And then all of a sudden I saw this little folded up note. It had it was a yellow old paper folded up in the front of the journal, and I pulled it out. Something said, Julie, read that. And it ended up being, it was notes from a Vedic astrology reading I did a couple years ago in Sedona at the Illuminate Film Festival. I worked with a Vedic astrologer, which is different than the astrology that we have of I'm not sure the name, but the West. So I read through this, and all of a sudden, you guys get this, I turn over the page, and there at the top, it says, my rising sign is Capricorn, which is the animal, the sign is the goat. Get that. It popped out, it lit up, and I was like, oh my God. And then it said, the goat is sure-footed, but it's about going one step at a time, finding them on the mystical path. And I thought, oh, what a great message, being sure-footed, one step in front of the other on this mystical path. How perfect. Then, get this again, I realized we are in the year 2020 of Capricorn. We are in the year of the goat. And we're also right now, I believe Jupiter, let me make sure, because I have this written down from my dear friend and healer, Reverend Francis Faden, who said, Capricorn, yes, Jupiter right now is also in Capricorn, which means right now we are in the time of the goat. So I share that because we can, when we're open, I mean, I'm getting chills. We get messages all the time. And I just felt so loved up this morning. And I was leading a meditation group. And what happened was, this is the icing on the cake. We were in the group, and beloved Deb Jolson, who I love, those of you who know her from the Miracle Morning community, was there. And she said, Julie, you're never going to believe this. We were sharing how we're doing and our intentions and what our takeaways were. And she said, Julie, this morning I went to do my sunrise walk. I didn't see the sunrise, but look what I saw. And she took a picture and showed it us all. It was a goat. So all I can tell you is my feeling is the wisdom of the goat that I shared. And I'm going to read to you what I found this morning about the goat. This might be helpful, a little further reading about it. It says that we can say the goat spirit animal is a symbol of faith and independence. A goat has also been used in many myths and legends, and it was considered the symbol of vitality, sensuality, and health. Actually, the male goat symbolized virility, and the female goat was used as a symbol of abundance and reproduction. So, just to break that down for you, and then we're going to wrap up. Thank you for hanging in, by the way. Really, this idea of faith, sure-footedness, one step at a time, and independence. Now, I see independence as being an independent thinker. Make sure you are minding your mind, beloved friend. There is a lot of mass consciousness of fear. Stay in that place of independent thinking and sifting through the data and the material and the news. I'm not saying to cover your eyes and not see what's going on. I'm just inviting you to let it go through your heart. Let it go through your inner wisdom. Stay that independent thinker. And then what I also love about this is the goat is about vitality, about energy, about radiance, about having that vital force. And then also sensuality to me is that Shakti, that prana energy. That is the energy of Mother Earth. Sensuality, it's not just about sexuality, which it can be, but it's also that primal force that we all have. So tuning into your primal force right now is so goat-like. Who knew? And then health, and as we saw, abundance. So finding the abundance right now, the abundance of blessings and gifts, and then reproduction, which to me is also about creation. How are you creating new? How are you staying in a mode of openness and creation versus fear, right? And going to that place of 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 not remembering who you are. You're a creator. We are here as co-creators with the divine, always. We always are. So just encouraging you to find ways to remember this. I'm really hoping and praying that you got something today from this episode. Thank you so much for being with me for this entire time. I know I'm a little long-winded. Just put a mic in front of me and look what happens. I will be doing some more solo episodes, just sharing some resources and thoughts and ways that we can stay connected. And I would love to hear from you. Please message me, email, stay in touch, go into the Facebook community, share what is uplifting you, what are you learning, what are the signs. We really all benefit from your experience, your upliftment, and your sharing your You-est you. I love and adore you, beloved soul seeker. I am so grateful for your big heart. I'm so grateful for your connection to this community and beyond, for sharing this with anybody you think this would serve, and for being a light in this world, for being a light worker, and for being such a big heart. Just sending love. And for that and so much more, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I cannot wait to connect with you soon. Love always.